to buy opportunity. The bottom line is that these two companies have a huge opportunity. There are only two companies in an entire sector. My story doesn't start with religion. My story doesn't start with the truth. My story starts with Alma de Shikra, the world of lies. God gave, God took, may His name be blessed.
So understand that having this rabbi is very, very critical. And also, to finalize this point, is that this is also the main thing that I heard with the people that told me that, yes, the point that we made about Shlom Bayit, how people go to the grave of Rabbi Nachman from Breslev and putting their Shlom Bayit on the line. And apparently this is not a new insight that I created. This is reality. A lot of people, I've heard this before, and I heard it again after I said it, that many of the wives are very, very unhappy that their husbands are going to this gravesite and praying while leaving their family behind on Rosh Hashanah, the main time that they have to spend together. So again, you may think that going there is a mitzvah. You may think it's going there and praying with 30, 40,000 Jews is a mitzvah. Being next to a righteous tzaddik that died is a mitzvah. You may think that. But any real rabbi will tell you it's not. Why? Because if your wife is unhappy, then you're making a huge sin. And we learn here in this week's parasha, when in chapter 18, verse 12, after the malachim, the angels, come to Avraham and tell him, this time next year you're going to have a son. It says, ותצחק שרה בקרבה לאמור אחרי בלותי הייתה לי עדנה ואדוני זקן. ויאמר אדוני אל אברהם, למה זה צחקה שרה לאמור האף אמנם אלד ואני זקנתי? And Sarah laughed at herself, saying, after I have withered, shall I again have a delicate skin and my husband is old? Sarah is saying, how am I going to have a son? She's laughing to herself, how am I going to have a son? I'm old now. And my husband's old. So Hashem said to Avraham, why is it that Sarah laughed, saying, shall I in truth bear a child, though I have aged? Is anything beyond Hashem? So here you see, Hashem actually changed the truth. Hashem changed what Sarah said. Sarah didn't say, I'm old. Sarah said, my husband's old. So what happened? Hashem forgot. What happened? So Hashem is telling Avraham, Avraham, your wife says that she's old. Why? Because Hashem knows, as the Creator knows His creation, that if He tells the husband, if He tells Avraham, listen, by the way, your wife said that you're old, Avraham's going to take it to heart. He's not going to like it. Well, my wife thinks I'm old. Maybe she doesn't like me anymore. Maybe she's going to look for somebody else. A guy is always going to be jealous. He could be 150 years old, still going to be jealous. Anyone that loves his wife has to be jealous. Obviously, if you're righteous, you have a certain, you contain this jealousy. But that's also the reason why a righteous husband will never let his wife walk around like a prostitute, half naked and all that stuff. Never. Why do you want to share your diamond with the rest of the world? For what? What benefit do you get out of it? That everybody has in their mind pictures of your wife naked? This is what you want in your life?
And it harms upon the souls.
Forget the parnasah. People thinking about your wife naked, is something wrong with you if you actually like that. Forget the parnasah, forget all the skulot, forget all that stuff. There's another guy in the world that thinks of your wife. There's something wrong with you if you're okay with that. There's mamash something wrong with you. So Avraham here is getting news from Hashem that his wife thinks that she's old. But she didn't say that. She said he's old. But Hashem is telling him that He changed the truth. In essence, We're only allowed to say it because that's what happened. It's written in the Torah. Hashem lied. He changed the truth for what? For the purpose of Shlom Bayit. Because if he would have told Avraham that his wife thinks he's old, Avraham could be upset at his wife and it could create Shlom Bayit issues. That's how important Shlom Bayit is. Hashem himself wrote a few verses in the Torah. It's not a theory. It's not like some pirush. It's not some commentary. This is what's written here. Chapter 18, verse 12 and 13. Literal Torah. You don't need Rashi, you don't need me, you don't need anything. You read it yourself. This is what it says. So if Hashem decided that Shlom Bayit is so important that He is okay with signing off His name with something different from the truth, you think that it's okay for anybody to go to some grave or some anywhere and put his Shlom Bayit on the line, even for a second? Even for a half a second? You think this tzaddik in Uman, where his body is buried, you think he wants you to put your Shlom Bayit on the line? You think the Rebbe from Lubavitch wants you to put your Olam Haba on the line by calling him Mashiach, by calling him God, by calling him whatever he's not? It's complete nonsense. People have to start learning Torah from the sages, from Hashem Yitbarach, and stop making up this craziness that they're making up, because it's mamash not doing anybody any good. So, with that being said, we see that this week's parasha already teaches us a very, very important life lesson. Number one, if you want to have the blessing of Hashem in your life, you must have Shlom Bayit, because Hashem Himself obviously put His name on the line for it. And also, we talked about last week how in the act of Sotah, Hashem allowed us to erase His name for the sake of Shlom Bayit.
I've heard enough. New arrival screams echoing through the hallway to know that this ain't good. Once they pass them through the infierno, they don't come back. It's enough to make you go crazy.
Do not think we fear you, Spirit. We know your power is born of evil. This is your last night in the land of the living. You understand me, malevolent demon?
There was a rich family that lived here called the Hetheringtons, and unfortunately, their daughter passed away of a heart attack inside the house. Basically, they were so devastated that they reached out to people claiming to be psychic mediums. They actually weren't psychic mediums. They opened up a total of 11 portals inside this house and invited spirits and entities from all different kinds of dimensions.
Well, I think there are certain pieces of evidence that there is an afterlife.
Resurrection of the dead is affirmed pretty clearly in the Talmud and the Midrash.
To be honest with you, to give this lecture is a nightmare. If it was up to me, I wouldn't. There's going to be some graphic details.
This place is a maze.
That person after death went to a place called Sheol.
This is by far the largest near-death experience study that has ever been conducted.
People go to a place and they experience weird things. And sometimes they actually will see a character of some type. Well, where did that come from?
I don't know why that one chain is swinging back there.
They may describe feeling profoundly peaceful, seeing a bright, warm, welcoming light. Some people describe watching doctors and nurses working on them with incredible accuracy.
Next thing I knew, I was above my body watching the operation.
How long did you feel like you were gone? I went to a place of timelessness. And so what that means, it could have been a second, could have been 5 minutes. I don't know.
Can you imagine waking up from your sleep and not being able to move?
As I'm lying there, I realized that there's an evil presence next to me.
Do you believe that angels, demons exist?
Holy shit, dude, get out of here! Oh my god, dude!
Strange things keep happening. Bizarre nightmares, as if I'm on fire in the woods.
Whoa, what the hell is this? Man, I've got bad chest pain.
Satan's Hollow is what it's called, the portal to hell.
Some people calling it an eye of fire, while others said it looked like the portal to hell opening up.
And the next thing I know, I was outside of my body, looking at my body.
What I'm going to do is called claromancy, the art of throwing lots or throwing bones.
2,000 years of experience, passed down, recorded, of how demons work.
God has them all on a leash, and he lets the leash go enough to let them tempt us, because that's what makes us spiritually stronger.
I'm trying to be as graphic as possible so you understand what we're talking about.
It's your ticket to reality. It's your ticket to freedom. It's your ticket to immortality.
Is there an afterlife? Is there a
It's
God?
the type of information that can keep you away from the Yetzirah.
What happens to us after we die?